right now on Higher Journeys with Alexis Brooks. Dalia Burgoin, you joined me last August. I can't believe it's been this long. Really not that long, but a few months ago. And you shared your story, which I'm kind of at a loss for words because actually, you just showed me yet another demonstration having to do with mindsight. We talked in great detail about on the last show, and I'm a little choked up. You're going to see a lot today, everyone. But first, I want to welcome you back, Dalia. We're going to get right into this because you guys, you heard the story. If you haven't, of course, I'll put a link to the beautiful show that we did this past summer. You've heard her story. You probably know about her beloved daughter, Lidu, and her telepathic abilities. But it doesn't stop there. It does not end there. Dalia has such a breadth and scope of really understanding what we call psychokinesis, telekinesis, mindsight, telepathy, and beyond. She's going to show us some things today. So without further ado, rather than do a lot of talking at the top, I want to get right into this. Dalia, I want you to explain to the audience what you're going to do because it's going to take the full length of the show. Everybody, you got to stay with the show to the end because the demonstration will conclude with that. So, Dalia, take it away. Tell us what you're going to do and share with the audience.
Yeah, thank you. So, yes, I have been working a lot with just showing people that we are we have incredible human potential and we have this ability to do basically anything our mind says we can do. We have the ability to do mind over matter. And we're going to talk about it a lot in the show, but I wanted to start with a demonstration that's going to kind of go throughout the show. So what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to have to move my here so you can see better. So I have a cucumber here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut this cucumber in an angle. So I've cut it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back together like this. And I'm going to hold it here for a moment and just put in the intention that it's going to go back to as if it was never cut in the first place. So it's going to become very strong. I've never done this live, by the way. I've never done it live. So we'll see how it works. And if you can join me, there is no limit in space and time. And Alexis, if you can join me and anyone watching, even though this is afterwards, if you can join me to make this super strong, it's not only is it becoming sealed as if it was never cut and as if it was made to be this way, but it's becoming super strong, super strong. We're putting the intention. It's as if we're using an AI prompt and we're saying, now this cucumber is super strong. This is how it was made. We're in the timeline that this is how it was made. And that every minute it gets 10 times stronger. So I'm just going to hold it for a few moments and put in a little bit of what I call an energy form. But you don't have to do anything with energy or anything. You could just say prayer. You could just think that this thing is getting super strong. And what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to put in the idea that every minute it gets 10 times stronger, so strong that it can hold bricks. It can hold a really, really, really heavy weight. And I'm just going to hold that for a few more seconds. And throughout the whole episode, I'm going to be thinking about how this is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And so, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hold that. And we can go ahead and just chat, and just throughout, I'm just going to continually think of it being stronger. At the end, we will test out its strength. So this is a game I've played with friends before, and that's a secret. Like the one secret is I say every minute it gets 10 times stronger. So I've played this with friends, and they don't do that part. They'll just say, oh, the cucumber is strong, is strong. And so their cucumber will kind of be connected by the end, but it wouldn't last as long. And then I would tell them afterwards, like, this was my secret. And then it would work. So, and anybody watching, I recommend trying it too, if you happen to have a cucumber nearby.
Absolutely. This is one of just dozens and dozens of things that you've tried. We're actually going to play a couple of Instagram reels that really is kind of the impetus for my saying, okay, we got to get her back on beginning of the year because you're really stretching and doing some things that I don't think you thought you would do until now. So can I just share with you what I was imagining as you were invoking
Yes,
us
please.
to or asking us to get involved? I was imagining fibers growing out of each side and kind of grabbing hold of one another and just kind of binding as if it were made that way.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I've
Yeah.
had, people saying they imagine, like, adamantium steel inside of it. Um,
Okay.
I've also thought of the fibers of it melding together, and then I start thinking, "It's already done. It's already done. It's already strong." And, so yeah, this is a fun one, and this one actually, it doesn't even perfectly align. So, if you can see, it doesn't perfectly align, but it's still gonna be very, very strong as if it was
Hmm.
made to be this way. And what's nice about this exercise is when you're done, you can just eat the cucumber afterwards. I always think it's even more healed because we are putting like a healing energy. So this cucumber is going to be a one that does really good things for the body. But so yeah, this is one of the little fun things that we do at the seminars that I do with Alex Stefan, and everybody will meet him soon.
He's
And
coming. Is he's here? I'm looking at him, but he's got to wait. I don't know if he can hear us. Can you hear us, Alex? He can. Okay, Alex, hang on tight, man. We'll be introducing Alex Stefan, my namesake, in a little bit. But let's get into a little bit of this conversation before we show these incredible reels that you did. What do you fully believe is happening at, I don't want to, maybe a cellular level, maybe at a subatomic level? Let's get a little, nerdy about it. I mean, scientifically, what can we say about what's taking place right now?
oh,
Is this
scientifically, I don't know. What I can say that I believe we are very divine, and we really can just make anything happen if we put our mind to it. And it just sounds so cliche, but it just seems like the only thing that limits us is the way we think. And that's
Mhm.
how with the mindsight and some of the things we've done at Census, we saw that everything that seems to defy physics is possible so far. We've been able to do things that just seem insane.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, I would say classical physics, but I didn't, and please forgive me because I would be speaking out of school if I dare try to, distill this scientifically. But I guess I'm thinking more of from a new science perspective. And everyone knows I'm a huge fan of the holographic model of reality, Talbot's work, David Bohm. And I'm just thinking that I don't think it's too foreign to some of the more I don't want to say fringe, but just pioneering work within the quantum field. Maybe we'll pose that question. We'll put that out there to some people that are kind of deeper in that work because I do believe it's a new science. The
mhm.
science we call classical science is really not that old. It's only about 300 years old. So there's a lot that they don't know. So I guess I'm talking more about the fringe science and not pseudoscience. This is real, you guys. Absolutely real. Let's play these reels. How's that for a segue? Let's play these reels for you, and then we're going to talk about it on the back end. So let me switch over. I hope I can do this. I'm going to add, you did two. Let me introduce them a little bit. You've done quite a few, but the two that I pulled, Dalia, one has to do with sticking things to the wall, and they stuck. Let's see if I can pull this up and have you talk about how you did it on the back end.
Hey, so I was about to start my training, and I just had this desire to start sticking things to the wall, just random things. So I found a couple of things around the house. I found a couple of coins. I found an incense holder in my Zen garden. And then I found this Pokemon thing. So we're going to go ahead and stick them all to the wall. And so first thing I'm starting with is this ordinary quarter. I'm going to stick it to any part of the wall. I'm just going to let my hand stop. And it doesn't matter what side it's on. So we're going to go ahead and stick that to the wall. I'm going to tell it to stick, 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 stick. You really don't have to say anything. You don't even have to hold it as long as I'm holding it. You can just put it on instantly, but here we go. And then here's another one. Sorry, they usually stick to the wall, but the fact I'm recording, I think it's kind of making it a little different for me. So this is just a penny, an ordinary penny. And let's do that incense holder thing. Let me grab it. So here is the incense holder. I'm gonna go ahead and stick that to the wall. Hold, hold, hold. Stick, 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 stick. Stick, stick, stick. There we go. And then lastly, we're going to do the Pokemon thing. So let's just find a different part of the wall, anywhere, maybe right here. You can see it's not actually sticking or anything. Now we're going to tell it to stick. In fact, I should just put it on the wall with no intention first. And so you can see. So let's actually do it like that. No intention. See? All right, now I'm going to do it with the intention. So there we go. Telling it to stick, stick, stick. Again, you don't have to like hold it as long as I am. It's just how my brain likes to do it. Stick, stick, stick. And there we go.
Wow.
So comments on that. So at our last, I had met someone beforehand that said he had put what do you call it? Spoons on the wall and silverwares on the wall. And I said, whoa. And then he showed me coins, and it didn't have to be a wall. It could be any surface. It could have been a computer screen. He showed me how he did it on a computer screen and on wood. And I remember thinking, we should do this at our next senses. I remember thinking it, but I didn't actually voice it. I remember seeing it happening. And then when we were at Senses, one of the facilitators named Nikki, she said, hey, I saw someone put papers on the wall. Let me try it. And so she did it. And then everyone started doing it. And I said, you know what? I actually had thought of this. I didn't voice it, but I thought of it. Why don't we do, let's do coins. And then everybody started doing coins, and the coins would be there for days. Like it would be there for days. After that, I started teaching, privately a lot of mindsight to people, and I would do the sticking to the walls thing after, and people would have their children do it, and it was getting bigger and bigger, the items, and people were putting it on the ceiling, putting it on different things, but sometimes it would be with kids. They like to be really fun, and sometimes they'll do like Legos and pencils and stuff like that. They'll put those things on the wall. I've had a student put like drill bits on the wall and stuff like that, like just random things.
So weight doesn't seem to really be as much of a factor. You're defying gravity, literally.
Yeah.
When you're talking about that.
The thing that is the factor is your knowing that it can be done. And so, and that's the same with all of these abilities, is if you think it's harder because of the weight, it will be harder because of the weight. But if you can get over that idea and slowly progress to bigger and bigger, you can. And it's so fascinating to see it. But my kids did it on their first try. Lily did it on her first try. And I remember, because it took me a while to get the hang of it. It took me maybe like 50 tries of trying it. I realize when I keep my finger out a little bit, like it actually sticks better for me. But some people just like Alex, he'll just put it on the wall and it'll stick. He doesn't have to hold his finger or anything. So you really don't have to. It's just whatever you think works for you will work. If you can come up with a reason it works. Like some people have said, oh, you must live in a humid environment. I'm like, I live in Utah. It's a desert. There is no humidity here. And that's why I tried to show, look, this is not sticking to the wall. This is just
right. No, I was wondering why you were kind of moving it around. I didn't know whether you were trying to sense the area that it would be more likely to stick or not. So you were just demonstrating that it wasn't. There's no sticky stuff going on.
And because I remember thinking like, oh, I probably should have done that with all of them, but okay, well, I do it now. And like, look, there's nothing. This is not sticking. This is not sticky at all. And so yeah, that's just one of the things that shows, hey, what we've always thought is not actually true. And that one's so easy. I tell people, just do it. And sometimes I don't demonstrate it. I just tell them to do it. And they're like, I'm very surprised. I was able to do it after the 50th try. So if anyone watching wants to try it, I'm going to recommend it. I would say, try, don't think, oh, I've got to get it on the first try, because you'll get nervous and that'll mess you up. And especially your disbelief. Instead, know that it's possible. And then out of 100 tries, ask yourself, like, okay, out of 100 times, how many times am I going to get this penny to stick to the wall? And on what number is it going to stick to the wall? So I had a student once, it was a woman and a man. And the woman, she got it really quickly because she just was really like, like she was very bouncy and energetic and happy. But the man, he was having a hard time. And he, after a while, he said, after maybe like 70 tries, he's like, look, this is not possible. I can't do it. Or actually he said, I can't do it. And she goes, no, you got to say, I can do it. And he's like, fine. And he says it sarcastically, he's fine. I can do it. And he sticks it, and it immediately stuck to the wall.
Even just saying the words.
Yeah, and he was like, "What the?" And then we tested to see whose would stay the longest, and mine stayed the longest because I had the most knowing that it could be done. But his actually fell the quickest. And what's yeah, it's really funny. And another thing you can do if you're wanting, if you get really good at sticking it to the wall, you can also, another game I like to play is going like that and making it fall. And so these are
Mhm.
things that you can do that it shows you that we are kind of in a matrix.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I have to make mention of something in terms of you put so much emphasis, Dahlia, on the knowing versus believing. A quote that I use all the time is seeing is believing, but experiencing is knowing. Seek to experience, and you'll never have to believe again. And I want to give you one, you in the audience and Alex as well, a little example of that. And this goes back many years when I worked in radio and we had our company Christmas party. And back in the day, we got some really, really nice gifts for Christmas. I don't know if they were even having parties anymore, but in radio. And I remember this one year they were giving away diamond earrings. Diamond earrings. Now keep in mind, I was in my early to mid 20s at the time. And I remember saying when I saw those earrings with conviction, and I knew nothing about what we're talking about at this point, but something came over me and I said, those are mine with conviction. And guess what? They are currently a part of the setting of my wedding ring.
Wow.
There you go. So, again, we're talking about, I heard you mention bringing up playing the lottery and things like that, doing this in order to acquire things. And we know it's not about that, although it's nice to know these things if you need to leverage them on occasion. But the point is, I will never forget my mindset. I don't know what came over me, but I made an emphatic statement. And the moment, and I've done this before, by the way, I've done this since, I should say, the moment I made it with such conviction. Alexis Fisher, my maiden name. Alexis Fisher, you've won the diamond earrings. So I say all that to say there is something very powerful about that faith, even the size of a mustard seed, as the Bible says.
Everything you just said, completely agree. And it is about what I know with mindset, especially in training it. People do have a lot of doubt that it's possible because otherwise they would be doing it already. And so, what's important for them is I give them the experience first, and then their rational mind can try to explain it. Once
I
they
love
have the
it.
experience, they'll say, "Huh, how did that happen? This must be a thing." Like
Mhm.
for example, one of the things I really like to do is I let people believe that they're looking in the front and maybe their mask is flawed or something. I let them think that because that's what their mind needs at the moment. But then I will actually put the colors in a place that's impossible to see and then doesn't match where they think they are. But they think they're looking here the whole time, but I'm really behind them. And so I'll do that a bunch. And then afterwards, I'll say, go ahead and take off your mask to see where I was. And they're like, oh my gosh. And first thing they'll do is they'll look around and they're really confused. And then they'll turn around or they'll look up, depending on where I am, and they'll say, what? You know, and they're like, how I thought I was looking here the whole time. And so their mind goes through that. But then they realize, like, hey, I had this experience. This is reality. And it becomes a new reality. And then their knowing opens up. But if I try to just explain it to them, their mind usually won't just accept it like that, unless they've
Yeah.
seen it in a bunch in front of them in possible ways, maybe. But for the most part, the experience and the knowing is the best way for them to pick it up that I found.
hmm Absolutely. There's something very magical in that. And I think there's something, and I'm not trying to make you sort of this messianic figure or anything, but there is something about the way you convey to your students, to the people that you're working with, that is transmits that message, effectively. I don't think everyone can do that. That is a talent that I think you have, instilling the confidence in them and using that psychology that you just explained. We this is about unlearning a lot of indoctrination that we've unfortunately been exposed to since almost the time we've been here. Well, I think kids, it's kind of, taken out of them, but it's unraveling, furling those layers of belief and replacing it with knowing that has always been there. So
Yeah.
kudos to you for that.
And you said, like
Absolutely.
you said earlier, faith the size of a mustard seed. If you even do look at the stories of the Bible and Jesus, he always said, "Your faith has did it. Your faith made you whole." They believed
Mm,
him so much, and they trusted in what he said so much that they allowed it to happen. And so, what I do is I try to hold this container every time they doubt, and everybody has this doubt that they have to face, and, even when you're blind. Especially like there's this one woman I worked with that was she had no eyes, she was blind, and she just said, "Well, it's going to be harder for me because I've never seen before." And I was like, "No, it's not." And I'm like, "Get that out of your mind right now. It's going to be easier
that's what I
because
mean. This is what you're doing. The way you said that. No, it's not. No, it's not.
yeah."
Just
And so
yeah.
that immediately just get that out of your mind. You're going to see just as fast as everyone else, and I'll give her reasons. And yeah, they do it really quickly. And Alex, when he's here, he can corroborate all of that, what he's seen with the blind, especially. So
Yeah.
so it's just yeah, it is that thing that we're so powerful. And sometimes we have to believe in someone else for a little bit. And that's the gift that I offer is, hey, here's a
Yes.
procedure to get you there that you can believe in. Basic. I don't say it like that. I just say you do this procedure, you'll get there. But it's the fact that they believe the procedure is helping. They really already have the ability.
They already have the ability. Oh,
Yeah.
no question about it. I believe this is an innate
Mhm.
capacity that we have, truly infinite. Speaking of Alex, I think that's a good segue. Dude, come on in. I just feel so bad because he's listening. We need him to be a part of this. Let's see. Let's see if I can get him in here. Are you there, Alex? How come I can't get him in
Yes, I
here?
am.
But we don't see you. We need to see you.
I see you guys. It's okay. I'm one of those
Okay.
disembodied voices.
Well, I'm gonna have you say hi to the audience, and I'm gonna just do a little rearranging here. I don't know why we can't see you. Welcome, Alex. We'll bring you
Thank
in a
you.
second. What I'm gonna have you while I'm working on bringing you on visibly. Why don't you introduce yourself? And Dalia's been singing your praises for quite some time, and now I want to hear from the horse's mouth. I tell you what. Let's start with this while I'm working on bringing on in your picture. What we saw, the Instagram reel of the sticking on the wall demonstration was really an example of telekinesis. Yes, and this is your bailiwick, I understand. Tell
Yeah,
us
yeah.
how you would distill for the layperson what's going on here. Would it be any different, or could you expand on maybe what Dalia did?
Yeah, so I think what Dalia said, like it's my view and perspective as well. I would go even like further into this whole idea that this is not, I don't believe that this is a reality that is necessarily physically made, and it starts with atoms and it's materialist. I think it might be more likely to be consciousness first or informational first, and then from that everything else gets expanded and develops, because everything that we've done. So I've worked with hundreds of people, and so has Dahlia, and everything that we've observed from people, and also in our own experiments, it doesn't seem to suggest that there are actually limits. People are able to do incredible feats of telekinesis, like moving other people, moving
Mm,
chairs, tables, heavy objects without any training. Or if maybe they're only training on very light objects like psi wheel, which is tinfoil. So to be able to go from moving tinfoil to moving a person uh, or a chair, a table, in a moment of need, would suggest that that ability exists in us. So, and it's not actually an ability. That's my belief. I think it has more to do with, like what you guys were talking about, a knowing. And if anything, it's more the ability of disbelieving the brainwashing of physical laws apply in this physical world where these kinds of things can't happen. So everything that Dolly was talking about, and I was listening, it's all kind of like what we do in our trainings and when we work with people. It's a slow process, or actually a fairly quick process over a few days even, or the first day, of dismantling beliefs that people have, dismantling beliefs that people have that have been bombarded in us since kids. And also, if you recall, when we were kids, when we were children, these things were real. I already believed this kind of stuff. Like, this was real to me. I had crazy experiences. Most people have had interesting experiences when they were kids. So we had these to begin with, and then these other beliefs in society and school put these other things on us, and it's this process of opening it up. And that's also where I come in with my background in hypnosis and NLP. These are tools that I use to help people open up their belief systems and be open to these kinds of incredible miracles. Isn't a good word because that would suggest it only happens for a few people, but what look like miracles, although it's available to everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Listen, you know what I want to do? I want to take a quick break. Speaking of hypnosis, I want you to hear from QHHT. And when we come back, I want to bring the three of us on. I think I'm going to use this time to see if we can get the three of us on camera. You've said so much in such a short period of time, Alex, and I think this needs to be a three-way conversation. So hang on, guys. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. We are living at a time of great challenge and incredible opportunity. A time when taking life into our own hands, charting our own course, and finding our own answers is more accessible than ever before. During this time, you may be asking yourself, what am I called to do? What if I could discover not only my own inner healing power, but help others all over this planet discover theirs? We all have the ability to heal ourselves, but it takes a special approach, a unique approach. Quantum healing hypnosis technique, also known as QHHT, a method developed by pioneering hypnotherapist and past life regression expert Dolores Cannon, is the approach that thousands have used and taught to access the deeper aspect of the self for healing at the core level. We all have the ability to tap into the higher self, the oversoul, the higher consciousness, and we have the means to help others to do the same. QHHT is designed to help the individual access the subconscious, the storehouse of all information, through visualization at the deepest level imaginable, a process that Dolores Cannon discovered and refined during her decades of working with individuals from around the globe. Training with QHHT will provide the guidance and give you the tools to help others tap that incredible force within. Now, you can access this exclusive training online, bringing the tools needed right to you so you can assist others in finding their own answers and achieve total healing. This is powerful and needed now more than ever. Be a part of the pioneering work and legacy of Dolores Cannon by learning QHHT. Start today by clicking on the link in the description of this show to get started. And when you do, don't forget to mention Higher Journeys to get a 10% course discount when you sign up. It's time we all take back control of our lives and chart the course for success at every level. It's time to discover the power of quantum healing hypnosis technique by helping others to help themselves. And by doing this, we are helping to heal the world. All right, we're back, everyone. I finally got us all on board. So, boom, there we are. All right, here we go. Now we can really get into this conversation. Alex, my dear, tell me about how you started working with Dalia and all the great things that you're doing with these seminars.
We started working close to I think it was a year ago, actually. We met up at a blindfold vision seminar in Orlando, Florida. And Dalia was on that one as a demonstrator for blindfold vision. I was coming on as a hypnotist and hypnotherapist to help. Because I had already, at the time I was in Australia, in Melbourne, and I had already been running telekinesis, my own telekinesis trainings for about a year. And they're about a 5-day block where I was teaching people to move things with their mind, but also, and very importantly, because people weren't satisfied. I did a bit of a test run. People weren't satisfied enough with just the interestingness of moving things with your mind. They're like, well, what else? Like, what's the point of this? So
good question. It is a good question. Yes.
And it's a very good question. But the thing is, with telekinesis, it goes hand in hand with healing and with manifestation, like very, very cleanly. Because if you consider, for example, healing, right? What are you doing? You're actually affecting on a cellular level, on a very, very small level, your own body or somebody else's body. And with telekinesis, when you're moving objects or you're affecting matter, I was calling it the manipulating the matrix training. So when you're manipulating matter, it's basically the same thing, only on a much bigger scale. You're doing something that you can visibly see and you see the result of. So the incredible incredible segue from moving matter that you can visibly see, having that belief and having that knowing, like in your body, knowing this, to then of course you can heal your body or heal somebody else's body, because that's something that, like, people have been doing that for thousands of years. This is totally within the unconscious, unconscious realm, within the morphic field of everyone. So healing, absolutely, of course, this makes sense, and makes it even easier because now you have full belief, and also, and you become familiar with the state that's required to manipulate matter to affect reality. So you can go into that state much more easily because now you've had a lot of practice.
Yes, that makes perfect sense. That was certainly a question I had for you. I mean, if you think about any of these modalities, if you will, and as I do, and I think to myself, what is the applicability to day-to-day life? Because we're still trying to navigate this matrix with a bit more ease. And I have thought about that very thing. I mean, I think of things that I would like to strengthen, like memory and recall. And I thought, if I were to practice things like even mindsight, even things that they may be tangentially related, but not directly, I'm still strengthening that field, that infinite field that I have, that capability that potentially can be applied to anything that I desire to manifest, even being memory and recall. So I think that's very important for everyone listening, that, this isn't about an effective parlor trick. It's not a trick at all. A number one and A number two, there is applicability on the day-to-day level. Let me ask you, Dalia, have you noticed some of your everyday skills strengthen as you've strengthened some of your psychic ability, if I can call it that broadly?
Well, the moment my mindset opened, it felt like my entire world of psychic abilities, or just mind over matter, started to shift. And I remember the very first thing I thought was, if I could do, I found the glitch in the matrix. That was the first sentence that came in my head. And then I said, if I could do this, I know I could put my hand in a wall. All I have to do is figure out a way to get my mind around it. But I know that's all possible. And so I had to integrate for a while, because the gift that I really got was knowing that there was more to life and that we can do a lot more. A big reason why people don't stick to mindset when they do pick it up is because, and a big reason we're not all doing it all the time, is because with modern day technology and stuff, we don't really need to see without our eyes as much. But what does open is that knowing, first of all, it does have a huge help for blind people. Like that's humongous. So it does impact some people. If you have low vision, we actually have found that when people practice the mindsight activities, their normal eyesight improves within a very short time. And in our last census, in the middle of it, someone said that their astigmatism went away. People said that their readers went away. I've had someone say, like, they're on their maybe the second day after wearing glasses for 20 years, he couldn't drive, he couldn't read. After 20 years, he didn't even need his glasses anymore. And not only that, if he put his glasses on, it made his eyes blurry. And so there's these incredible implications. At our next census, I don't want to ruin it by saying all the surprises, but at our next one, we actually will have people's eyes officially checked by an optometrist. Is that what it's called? I'm saying the right word, right?
Yeah, and yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're gonna have
optical
your eyes
optometry.
actually checked before and after, so they can see what happened if
That's
they don't
amazing.
already have 20/20. So it's super exciting.
This is to me probably the most critical part of this conversation ever, because we are here and now on terra firma, and we have to negotiate the ebbs and flows of this life. And we should be able to do it with a fair pinch of ease. And if developing these abilities will help that, we need to be talking about it all the time. I got one for both of you: weight loss. And I'm not even being funny about it. Can I tell you a little secret about something? I've been trying a couple of demonstrations on my own, and one is imagining fat cells, not just imagining, and not just using intention, but using my hands to, I'm doing movements. I've done this before with other things, but imagining fat cells that I do not need being magnetized to my hands, and then I'm throwing them out the window. I've been doing this for about 3-4 days. Not kidding. And I figured this would be a great with it. I can't attest to any shift yet, especially after the holidays, you guys. And that's real. I mean, I ate like a pig over the holidays. And but again, this is a real life. What can we do with this? Now, obviously, I haven't trained in mindsight and I haven't trained in the tele and psychokinesis, but I have done these sorts of crude experiments before. I'd love to get your thoughts on that. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that could, stand to shed a few pounds. Could this be applied here? And are there some things we could do?
I'm gonna go first, but yeah,
Okay.
most definitely. So what I usually see is with chi masters and things like that, what they usually play with, just to show you how much we can affect our body, is they will make like one finger much longer and then put them together, and you'll see one will be much longer than the other, and then put them back, and they're showing things like that, or they'll put a cut on their body and make the cut go away. These are things that we can definitely do. And if you are every single day thinking, oh, I'm so out of shape and this food is just so bad for me, you are putting an intention every single day. And it's like every day you're creating another intention to do the opposite of what you want. So as long as you're doing that knowing again, and you're saying, hey, when I do this, my body does this, you're creating this new program that will work. But yeah, there's things that when you said the magnetizing your hands and stuff, I don't know if you've seen the video, but I've actually been able, and not just me, but anyone I say try it, can magnetize metal. I don't know if you've seen that demonstration of me doing that. So yeah, you can literally, this is another ability that we all have. Again, we're just not limited. So yeah, if you put metal down, I learned this from a friend called Bree. I just saw her do it and I tried it and I'm like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I put a bunch of sewing needles down, and then I had a knife. I actually have some next to me, but I already magnetized them. So you can argue that I did something fishy, but I'll just kind of show you right now. These are ones that I've magnetized just with intention alone. Let's see. So here,
careful of that cucumber. Don't.
I know. Move that aside carefully. Here's some knives I've magnetized. So I started out with just sewing needles that are easy. Hold on really quickly. So I started off with sewing needle because those are easy for me to think these are light. I can probably magnetize these. And so there's a video where I actually have it on my Instagram. And so you see me kind of going like this, like, wow, these are magnetized. And, and this is how I just put the intention in. And I didn't do anything with magnets or anything. This was not, I showed in the beginning of the video how they were not magnetized at all. And then I got into heavier weight once I got confident. And I don't know if I can still do it. I don't know if I'm going to make it full, but let's see. I was able to do it with the knives too. So yeah, right now, oh wow, I'm surprised at how much it is going to work. So you can see it's lost it since I've played with it last time. Let me try a smaller knife.
But I saw a little bit of
let's try
magnetism.
Or let me try it this way. There we go. So I'm gonna do it again so you can see. One more time. Touching and it's moving. So you don't even need to do this with things that are metal. It's just easier to believe. You could do it with non-metal. You could do it with your body. You can make your fingers magnetic and move them. But these are things we can do, and things that again, like with the penny thing, I've just asked people to do it, and so many people just were able to do it just because they saw me do it and they saw it was a thing that was doable and they were able to. And that's just another example of how unlimited we are. Anyway,
this so effortlessly.
Yeah.
Let's show this other Instagram that you did. And by the way, we'll make sure we have, I think when I downloaded the Instagrams, it has your handle on there so people can go there, but we'll make sure to have a link to your Instagram so people can see all of this great stuff you're doing. Let's try to add I want people to see how you were able to lower your body temperature with intention. Let's watch this.
Hello, everyone. I thought I'd try a different activity today. So instead of doing extraocular vision or mindsight, I thought I would show you me lowering my body temperature. This is a practice we do in the School of Chi Energy. And a friend of mine just posted a video, her name is Nikki, where she was increasing her body temperature. So that made me want to show a video and revisit when I used to lower my body temperature often. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a before temperature. So 87, not bad. So the goal is to get it to go down 1 or 2 degrees because I'm only going to do like a minute or 2 of the form. So I'm going to bring out an energy form. I'm going to make my hands super, super cold, and I'm going to cool down my body. It's more like I'm going to cool my body and my hands and cool myself down. So let us begin. On to 86. Let's get it to go down some more. Yay! I was thinking 84 the whole time. I was thinking 84. Nice. All right. Well, that was the practice today. Maybe next time I'll do it more in real time where I'm holding it the whole time.
One thing I noticed that you do, Dalia, is you will speak the intention. You will talk to that which you're trying to mutate or change. How important is that in this whole process?
I have a belief that words are a stronger thought. It's when we make our thought into a thing almost, and it becomes more of a tangible thing. And so I'm speaking it to make it stronger. But I don't think it's even necessary. But I definitely,
Okay.
I like to speak it. My kids do it too. Not Lidu, but my other ones, the younger ones, when they're sticking things, they're like stick, stick, stick. And so I started doing that too. But
Okay.
so yeah, and that was my first time doing that on a demonstration on video
Wow.
too. So
My goodness.
so yeah, doing it
Oh,
on video for me, and I need to not speak this into existence, but it has in the past made me perform a little differently. So when those
sure.
pennies and coins were falling, that was new for me because they usually stick for like a day or so. But I just accept. I'm like, what? It's because I'm on video, and that's just for now. And eventually, I'll probably be
Right.
on video just as easily. And so,
You know, and Alex, I'd love for you to jump in on this. This, to me, as I'm listening and watching your process, seems to me as if you're almost entering into a relationship with that which you are, again, trying to change the condition of, which reminds me of something. Alex, tell me if you've ever heard of something called panpsychism. Panpsychism is a relatively new term where some aspects of science are looking at the idea that even uh, what am I trying to say? Inanimate objects have a measure of consciousness to them. They're listening to you and will thus respond in kind. What
Yeah.
could that be a part of the equation we're looking at?
So I would be very surprised if something along those lines wasn't the case, because if you look at shamanism, and by shamanism I mean the earliest form of any sort of spirituality that existed on any continent, because shamanism existed on absolutely every continent. Mircea Eliade, who is one of the foremost researchers of shamanism across different continents, one of the things that they all had in common was this idea of animism. animism being panpsychism, so that everything holds consciousness. Even inanimate objects like a ring, for example, will hold consciousness. So I think that is, I'd be very surprised if that wasn't the case, if that sort of thinking developed across the entire world and to some extent has continued. And you talked about a relational sort of um, behavior with these objects. Um, Once again, because I believe our reality, or this matrix, is unfolds and is co-created with us, co-created with us. If we have it in our mind that these rings or coins that you're sticking to a wall, these listen to you and they have a consciousness, and you can work with them, you can speak to them, you can ask them to stay. Then you having that belief or having that knowing, which is also very deep in the morphic field, in the unconscious collective of ours, because of, again, it's been thousands of years old. You can use that to your advantage to then create the reality that you want, where a coin will stick to a wall, or a cucumber can be recreated and healed and last with 10, 20 kilos of what you plan to test it with.
I think the implications of this, as we're going down the road of this conversation, are just so incredible. Dalia, you and I spoke offline about your mission. You believe this is a holy mission of yours, if I may share that with the audience. And I agree. I believe that this is critical work that both of you are doing, and people like yourselves. I'd love to hear from both of you on this. How might we begin the process of getting this to the wider world? These shows are great. I'm grateful that we have provisions now where these sort of niche subjects and niche content gets out there, but we've got to get it to the layperson. Is this the type of thing, and I'd love to hear from both of you, that you could eventually see being taught in public schools?
Most definitely. I think what's important is that we're not just doing random social media things only. And we're not just, if we're just doing social media, it could easily be like called a scam and debunked. Or people will say they have the reason it works. And if you do it just with scientists, nobody's going to see it. And so I think it's really an amazing thing to just combine the two, that you are doing things that you're doing media that includes science. And so at our last seminar, our last census, we had so many incredible things happen, but we did have a scientist come and brain map us, and he actually found really interesting findings with the Mindsight. And we're actually going to be in the a lot of the footage, and a lot of our people from that seminar is going to be in the next upcoming Superhuman 2 movie. And yeah, our blind individuals, though, they were incredible, and they are going to be featured in the movie as well. Like I'm going to be in there too. And
is that Caroline Corey's? Is that being done with Caroline?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic! Caroline's a dear friend of mine. I had her on for the first Superhuman. Oh, that's great. Yes, wonderful. Oh my gosh.
So she is making sure she's including scientists in this, and making sure people see that this is reputable. These are bona fide blind people. One of them didn't have eyes at all. Like, one of them, no eyes. And
physically, there were no
false eyes. He has false eyes. And one of them lost his vision 10 years prior, and one of them was born blind. And all three of them were seeing. Like they were able. Alex, you can go ahead and explain it.
Yeah, they were. It wasn't just that they were seeing. What was really interesting was, at one point, they were all able to see through things. So they were able to see through a table, through other cards. They would read the card behind the one in the front. I think through a door as well at some point. It was just like, it was beyond, like, already having a blind person see. That's unbelievable. But then being able to see through something as well, I think that goes to show that, okay, we're not dealing with the usual kind of physical reality that we think we're dealing with. This has to be some sort of a non-local, informational, maybe simulation sort of thing, panpsychism, or co-creating type of reality.
I absolutely agree. I mean, again, I'm reminded of, I've done some of the work that I did on the History Channel, but the proof is out there. I covered the visible spectrum as it relates to some of these anomalies and how are living within the visible spectrum, and the wavelengths and nanometers that we see are so infinitesimal, just what 300 and some odd to 700 and some odd nanometers, which is nothing. I mean, there are animals that see beyond that. But when we're doing the things that you are so brilliantly demonstrating, it seems that we have the ability to go outside of that visible or outside of the nanometer spectrum, that we're really outside of the visible spectrum altogether. Somehow we have the ability to jump, maybe even jump timelines. I don't know exactly what is happening, but certainly we're defying our baseline capability of operating mainly within the visible spectrum. Wouldn't you agree, Alex?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not possible otherwise. And all of the observations that we've had in the experiments that we've done, it's very clear that first off, distance does not make a difference to what we're doing. Distance doesn't make a difference when you move objects with your mind. You can go from very far away. You can go, we've done experiments over Zoom as well to move objects. It can happen like that as well. Same with remote viewing. Everybody's like, remote viewing is not subject to distance. And then also time. Any sort of information gathering, intuitive process, this is not restrained by time either. So in the past, you can go as far in the past as you want. In the future, there seems to be a little bit of an issue with probability. So it seems like it's more of a likeliness that you're getting, and that can still be really useful. But for example, on our last training, we teleported pennies as well, which once again, like this is how do you explain that? That doesn't work within the physical. If you take physical laws, that's not going to happen. You know, that's
right.
not possible.
Wow.
And that was a hell of an experience. I don't know if you mentioned it, Dalia.
I haven't mentioned that yet. Yeah, that was really exciting. That was actually my favorite part because I was
teleporting pennies. Teleporting pennies. You're talking about.
Yes,
yeah. So we were able to teleport pennies from like 30 feet away or something from across the room, and consistently. At least, so we tried it 3 times, and at least every time at least one person did it. The first time one, it was a couple times 2 people did it. Yeah, that really blew my mind because I was like, wow, what can we not do? And so we're going to be working a lot with that one. I'm trying to think of what else we did that was really incredible. Like, to me, the things got so incredible that people started to see it as normal. And by the end, so in the beginning, like, we did a lot of demonstrations. We saw, people got to see us all doing it. So everything we were going to train, they got to see it first. And so they saw Lily doing her telepathy. Lily was there. Lily was actually helping train. And so they saw Lily doing her telepathy. They saw me with the mind sight, and they saw not just me. I actually, because I didn't want people to think it's just a one-trick pony. It's just Dalia doing it. I was like, no. And so I brought up a former student, and I had him demonstrate with the blindfold on, and he's looking at the cards, and they're like, oh, they're like this. And then at the end, I said, for those of you who don't know, this person was actually born blind. And then it really blew their mind. So in the very beginning, seeing Lidu and seeing like, they at the very beginning, their mindset was already like, wow, this is possible because of the demonstrations. But then by the end, they were all able to do it. And so it's like, instead of them seeing us as these higher beings, and however they saw us in the beginning, we all became the same. Or realized we were all the same.
And when we did the teleportation, it wasn't Dalia and I that did it. It was actually all of the attendees.
The group, yes.
Yeah. So it wasn't us, and that was the first time that we've ever facilitated that teleportation. And like Dalia was saying, it became completely normal for everyone, because like when I introduced the exercise itself, I had to do my best to keep like a straight face. That, okay, you guys are gonna. So we're gonna teleport pennies, and not trying to make it, because if I frame it as if this is, who knows if it's gonna happen, and I've never before, then they won't have the confidence and belief system that this is definitely gonna happen. So I framed it. I tried to frame it as with as much conviction as I could, you know.
Yeah.
And when it finally
So
did
great.
happen, I was ecstatic.
You're blown away.
Freaking out. Yeah, I was jumping around and like
I
ecstatic.
love it. Isn't
And
that
Dalia
so-
was also one of the ones like super happy. But
Yeah, I'm
everybody else
so
was like
happy
pretty
about
chilled
it.
and relaxed. And they're like, oh yeah, of course. I mean, shouldn't have this happened?
Yeah, and with the blind people, towards the end, I had them all demonstrate in front of the class. I had them demonstrating reading and stuff like this. I mean, again, people like there's more in it, and we're not supposed to say because it's going to be revealed in the movie, but um, with the ones that were seeing through things, what he did, like especially this one, what in the one that was seeing through things the most was the one that had no eyes, and with that, he had surpassed like what I've even tried to do. And what he did was he made it so that I saw something and now I know what I'm going to shoot for next. And so after that, not only did I started shooting for higher, but my students after him, and more of them started doing it because I saw what he was able to do. And this is a point that Alex brings up a lot. The students usually will surpass us, and then we catch up to the students, especially with the telekinesis and the teleporting pennies. That was whoa, and now I have no doubt it can be done.
Right. And you filmed this, obviously, yes?
Mhm.
Yeah, we filmed the teleportation as well, but with the teleportation, I was at the front of the room and it was in a cup where I was, and everybody was sitting down, and people were teleporting the pennies from the front of the room into their pockets.
My goodness.
So we have it on video, but it's like it doesn't.
It's hard to kind of see it in real time, right? Because of the
Yeah,
right.
you can't show that, hey, there's absolutely nothing in the pockets. And
Right.
Yeah, so before we did it, we actually did have our partners like, hey, take a look. There's nothing here, or there's this in my pocket right now. And then afterwards show what happened. So that's how we did it. But yeah, it's really easy to say, oh, that person just forgot that it wasn't there, or they didn't know, it's really easy to argue on video.
We're still
that's
in
the
that
point.
Mhm.
So that's the point. So that's why this is a key principle for like what we're doing and how this stuff works. It's all psychological, and it's based on the reality that you're in and your own belief systems. So the reason we're doing it in the pockets is because there's that uncertainty and that doubt that exists of, okay, could I have made a mistake when I checked my pockets? I mean, I checked it twice, 3 times, surely not, but there's like a sliver of uncertainty and possibility that maybe you did make a mistake. So that's what we play with, and that's what we leverage with these exercises. We find ways, especially at the beginning, the introductory exercises, we find ways to leverage this uncertainty that exists, where part of your mind might be like, okay, it's possible that physical reality is working fine and I made a mistake, or I miscounted. Or there's also the possibility that something crazy did happen. But regardless, we keep that space, that bubble of uncertainty alive for this to happen when we do the exercise, because that allows, it doesn't force the conscious mind to have to make a decision and believe either or yet. So that allows for this possibility of something incredible to happen, and you're just rationalizing it as something ordinary. But once you've done it once, 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, now you're in a different reality and you expect that to happen, and you can start to collapse the probability of, hey, this is physical reality, and you fall into the one where it's, okay, no, we're in some extraordinary reality and this is real.
I love it. That is brilliant.
That's how the mindset works too.
Yeah.
Although the people who teleported, though, they very much knew. Like the first one started crying when he saw it. The last one, it was a guy that just walked in, and he owns a coin shop. He actually he hasn't. Well, we told him what to do. We said, "Hey, you're going to teleport this penny with us," and so he does it, and he's like, oh my gosh, there's a penny in my pocket. But what was interesting about him is he said because he owns a coin dealership and stuff, he's been taught his entire life never to put coins in the pocket, like never, ever, ever put coins in the pocket. And he says, I never have coins in my pocket. And then his face was just like, what just happened? How did this happen?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I love what you're both sort of holding space for, literally holding space for the uncertainty as well as holding space for the extraordinary and the physical laws not being broken. And it's not that it's a paradox, but you're just making allowance for both. So you're not pushing against anything. You're allowing for both. It's kind of almost like a neutral position.
It's like allowing plausible deniability, allowing for plausible deniability for a situation to happen.
Wow, I can see that. That's stunning. I want to talk before we go to the after show. And by the way, guys, I'm really excited. Really hope you'll come over to the after show because we're going to be doing a Mindsight demonstration live. Live, as it were, it's pre-recorded, but we're going to be doing it for you. I'm going to be showing some items on my end that neither Dalia nor Alex know about. Now, Alex, I don't know if you have any blindfolds, but I know Dalia does. So you can just kind of hang out with us and watch it happen. But I'm really excited. We're going to be putting that up over on the after show. So please join us for that. But before we go over there, I want to talk about something that's been referred to as electrokinesis. I have to admit, I'm not familiar, was not familiar with that term, having to do with affecting electricity. Now, bear with me because I have to give you the synchronistic backstory on this. So I'm in the midst of preparing a conscious commentary episode that may in fact air before this episode airs. Let's see how it works out. But it's based on the idea that when contact with non-human intelligence is happening in myriad forms, that there is some sort of an electrical conductivity that is taking place, some kind of manipulation of electricity, or maybe even the additional presence of electricity. In any case, electricity seems to be central to phenomena. And when I heard, this is what I'm going to be talking about in my commentary, and when I heard you, Dalia, bring up, and I believe it was on the Danny Jones, again, shout out to Danny Jones podcast who had you on, you brought up this term, and I thought, isn't that something? And I want to share with you, if I may, just a little. I'm fascinated by the prospect of our interacting with electricity in this way. So if you'll let me, I want to share a dream, or frankly, it's a series of dreams that I've had for many, many years. They happen to this day on occasion that you might call psychic training. I don't know quite what it is or why it is, but I will dream that I am standing in front of a light source, often a lamp, and I am able to telepath to it and either make it come on or go off. And then I will move on to another light and I will know instantaneously whether it will come on and go off. And I will go down the line and literally get into a relationship, you might say, with lamps and lights. This has been a recurring dream or exercise that's been happening in my sleep state, I would have to say, for probably about 20 years. And I don't know what the impetus is for it or the ultimate reason is for it, but I have to imagine that I may be going through some sort of training in an altered state for something like electrokinesis. This is a true story. I will have light phenomena happening in the dream state.
Well, we actually did have electrokinesis in our last seminar, and we had a demonstrator, Chris Fazio, and he would demonstrate the ability, would demonstrate with the light bulbs, and he would demonstrate a lot of things with electro. But what was amazing was that afterwards, after watching, people were able to do it. And we've also met Master Centeris after, and I've never even considered trying to turn on the lights on consciously. I've done it unconsciously a couple times. I actually have an Instagram video with me turning on the lights and on.
I saw that.
Yeah, so there's a touch lamp. And so my intention was, well, I know what it feels like to actually touch the lamp and turn it on. So I'm just going to act like I'm doing that. And so I was able to do it. Well, at first I wasn't able to do it that easy. Okay, the first time I did it was with Master Sinteris, who's also really well known for electrokinesis, and he asked me to come over, and then I did it. I'm like, did it on first try, so easy. But I remember thinking it's because I'm next to him and he's doing something, and so I had that thing in the plausible deniability. It's because he was next to me. So I get home, I buy the lamp. And then I try it again and I couldn't do it. And I was like, wait a minute, well, what's the difference? I'm like, he was next to me, but there's got to be something else I can go on. And I said, you know what? I think the lamp was grounded. And so I put the lamp on a earthing mat, like a grounded mat, and I was able to do it. And I was like, great. Now let me see what else can I explain? I said, if I could do it on an earthing mat, I could do it by creating a circuit with my body. And so I picked up the lamp, I put my hand on the bottom, I did the top. Again, I could do it without because I believed my body was creating like the circuit. And then I said, you know what? I've done it like 3 or 4 different ways now. Let me see if I could just go back to putting it on the table and me being on a carpet. And then I could. And so I've kind of progressed with all of these reasons. And then I realized, wait, everything I came up with made it work. So maybe I could just do it. Alex was able to, he actually did it before me. How many times did it take you to do it?
Not that long. I was, because we were at the filming of Superhumans 2, and we were there when Master Sinteris was doing it, and I think he had already played around with the light. It's one that works like kind of on touch, and yeah, we just had the light there, and I started playing because I was trying different stuff, sticking things to walls and stuff, and then the light, and like, oh, cool, works. Yeah, the grounding thing I didn't get a chance to try, but I think that might be a thing, or just like we've been talking the whole show now, what if it might just be like a belief that we have that is constraining it, and then you use it to create that uncertainty to then, okay, no, actually I can do it regardless.
Yeah.
I feel, the word that just came to mind, there's something powerful about the idea of entanglement, how it's used in sort of quantum language, where there's almost this dance that's happening with intention, vocal cords, our own metabolic or atomic structure, entanglement of all those things coalescing, creating, if you forgive the term, a perfect storm, perfect conditions. We're minimizing the possibility that it cannot be done because all of these things are becoming entangled at the same time. So we tend to say, well, it's because I speak out loud, or it's because I believe so fervently, or it's because no. I have a feeling it's all working in tandem. Just a thought, entanglement. I want to get your thoughts on the dream that the recurring dreams that I just mentioned to you. What do you all think? What do you both think that's all about? Speaking of entanglement, I guess. Why? These seem so out of context.
Well, I always feel whenever I'm training students, they start having these dreams that their mind opens, and it happens almost every time. And to me, I think there's a correlation. I think that the dreams are showing them not only what's possible and having them experience it before they actually do it, but it's like they also believe it's going to happen because the dream showed them, and because I tell them, hey, every time someone has a dream, their mindset opens, and because I tell them that, they allow it to happen. But to me, like I do think the dream's going to show you what it feels like, so that you can remember when you come out.
I have levitated in dreams. I perform a lot of psychic phenomena in dreams. I mean, I've been interested, obviously, in the subject for many, many years, but particularly now, Dalia, with the two of us getting to know one another and just by becoming more privy to some of the wonderful things going on, I'm willing to take a step forward and start practicing this more. So perhaps those dreams so many years ago was somewhat of a precog that I would actually be, preparing me for it. I don't know. Alex, what are your thoughts on what this is all about?
Yeah, so I work a lot with the unconscious, and I would say, like, especially the dreams. Dreams are one of the primary ways that our unconscious minds communicate with us. So if you've been having this dream, I would invite you to try playing around with, like, just turning on some lights on and off, especially if you've been doing it for 20 years.
Yes,
your dream.
easily.
That's unreal. That's incredible. I would highly recommend and invite you to just play around with it. I was just talking to somebody prior to this, and they were talking about how their young toddler is turning lights on and off intentionally, or turning on the TV on and off. So this is 100% within our prerogative. If you've been doing this, there might be something to it.
Yeah. And I suppose it, when we think of the why of it all, perhaps it's preparing me for the fact that I need to do this. I need to be practicing this. I'm going to. And you know what? I truly feel that I can do it. It's such a real and raw feeling when I'm in the midst of the dream. Sometimes the lights will be off, and I'll go to one light and turn the switch, and it won't come on. And I will then know that the next light that I go to, the same thing will happen, and the next, and that also is accurate. So there's also sort of a very minute precognition in this act that I'm doing. It's just, again, I feel like I'm in a relationship with the light. I don't know how to explain it, but I wanted to just bring that up to you. It's just stunning.
Again, that relationship aspect, that if you take the view that we are co-creating this reality, this matrix, we are co-creating it, then absolutely you're in a relationship with it. We're in a relationship with everything around us, always.
It's a beautiful way to be, and I think it's a humble way to be. And I know many in our audience, many of you out there have hold that in high regard and operate in that way as well. And I just want to remind you and remind us all, this is how we should be living and dancing every day. So with that, I want to say thank you. We're going to wind down. We're going to go next door. I can't wait to do this demonstration. Y'all come on over, support us over on Patreon.
And cucumber now
after? No, I forgot. We're going to do it now.
All right, let's do the cucumber now.
Okay. Alex, were you here for when she started this or no?
Yes,
you know what
yes,
this? Okay.
All, yeah.
Okay, let me put you on full screen. Hold on. We're going to take a look at this.
I'm going to start with something light just in case, but here is the cucumber. And I'm going to put it in this bag right here so that it holds. I'm going to hold it on this side. As you can see, it's holding together. And so I'm going to put items in the bag to see how much weight it can hold. So I'm going to start with something small, like a cup. Let's see. Get in there. All right. So it's holding the cup. Now I'm just going to pick any random things in my room of this. All right, I'll pick these, maybe not the knife, because then we'll cut through the, I'll pick my phone. It's kind of heavy, but. All right, it's got my phone in there. I will do, I don't know if I'm pushing it, but we're going to do a water bottle. Water bottle. Come on, water bottle, get in there. Come on. I already see. All right, stronger. Every minute it's getting stronger. It's holding that water bottle. So stronger. And
Stronger. Like iron. Stronger.
I'll do another water bottle. Actually, before that, because it's getting kind of heavy for me. This is always an issue I have. It gets too heavy for me. This is just a tape that I put on my mask. Oh, there it goes. But it was actually getting really heavy for me. So again, let's see what the cucumber was able to hold. It held this. It held this cup. It held this water bottle. It held my phone. And it held whatever this is. This is a spring. So it was able to hold a good amount of weight.
What are you calling this experiment or demonstration? What would you call it? You got to give it a name.
Well, it's like
cucumber of iron.
Yeah, I've heard of another experiment, and I think this is a safer one. Well, and I think you've heard of this too, Alex, where you take a bunch of light bulbs. And at first you smash the light bulb into like what, a brick or something, and you see it shatter. But then you take these light bulbs and you put an intention at the light bulb. What's the intention? That it's brick or something, but that it's
iron, that it's steel.
yeah, and then you can slam it in there, and then it doesn't actually break. But yeah, that's a pretty unsafe. There's a lot of glass shattering in the beginning.
Yeah,
So
wear
I think this is
eyeglass
a
protective stuff if you're gonna try that. That is not.
Yeah, so this is a much safer one where you're still putting an intention into something. I like it because it also is doing, and I get to eat the fruit afterwards. But I also like that you are kind of doing a healing. You're actually seeing it. That's another thing I have done a couple of times. I've saw someone do it where they crack an egg and then you heal it. You have the egg go back together, and so I've been able to do it. And so that's another thing we're gonna play with. But yeah, this is kind of showing you that we can heal. And this is, a lot of the times with healing work, it's kind of by belief, and sometimes people don't believe, but this stuff shows you physically right in front of your face, you can heal something. You can actually cut a piece of fruit or crack an egg and you can heal it. You can see it go back to the way it originally was. And so these are all things that show you right in front of your face, these abilities, and you don't have to hurt yourself and heal yourself in order to see it. So
holographic completely. Again, forgive me, audience, because I talk about it all the time. But the reason why one of the components in all of this is the holographic principle, that the whole is in every single part. So somehow we are bringing back to life in the cracked egg, the little piece of shell or the yolk. The whole is existing within every a grain of sand. She eats the cucumber. I knew that was going to happen.
I feel like the cucumber is very healing afterwards because you put so much.
It makes sense. Yes, that makes perfect sense. Oh my gosh, where do we go from here? Alex, tell us where we can find you, man. Like, how do we find you? I'm going to have you back on the show if you'll come.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. I do stuff a little bit on Instagram. I'm doing a lot of teaching and tutorials and education stuff. I take a much more, I do more of like psychology, like how things work from a psychological perspective. And I do more like neural hacking, mind hacking, because of my background in hypnosis and NLP. I use a lot of that stuff in my training, and on Instagram at alex.imxo. You can find that stuff there. I do little tidbits and longer ones so people can do this stuff at home as well. And
I love it.
And understand under the hood, what's really going on and why.
Under the hood. That's what it's all about, under the hood. Even though there is no
so
hood.
If traveling and doing one of our seminars is out of the question, you could just, especially Alex's channel, he actually kind of teaches you a lot of the mechanics, and you could just start following along. Just for fun, Alexis, just because you know this person really, really well. Alan is going to be at our next one, Alan Seinfeld.
Oh boy. Well, when is that and where is that going to be?
That's going to be in Sedona. It's going to be from February 1st to the 7th. And also I did want to mention, we do have 3 seats open we might have a couple already taken, but we have some seats open for the blind still. And if a visually impaired or blind person is wanting to go, we really want them to come because they bring this new magic. When people see the blind seeing, it's a big deal. And so we do have scholarship opportunities. If it is too expensive for them, we just want them to feel supported and be able to go. So if anyone knows anyone that's visually impaired or blind and they are wanting to experience this and they can take the time off, we do have an application process. If they go to extra-ordinaries.com and look at the training, there's a way that they can apply for it.
Let's make sure we get all of the pertinent information off air so I can make sure that we have it in the link. This is super important. This is what we're talking about, guys. This has just been extraordinary. What a treat at the start of 2020. Did I say 2026? I'm living in the future. I've teleported myself. Which is a 1 year, 2026, a 1 year, new beginnings. What a great way to start. I am so appreciative of you, Dalia Burgoin, Alex Stefan. And I know, I'm not going to say I hope, I know this will be the first of many. For you, Dalia, the second of many. But for you, Alex, the first of many more conversations with Higher Journeys. So thank you so, so much. You're loved and you're necessary. Thank you. Don't hang up. We're going to go right to the after show. You hang out with me, you guys. I'm going to sign off with the main show for now. I hope you enjoyed this 2026, still new episode of Higher Journeys. More to come where that came from. We'll talk to you guys soon. Much love. Take care.